I'm not even sure where to start. So I saw Civil War today. Usually here in Japan we get stuff like forever after the fact. Like, we still don't have Deadpool. There were 3 Deadpool trailers in front of this movie today, and I was like, leave me alone! I know so hard, I know! But for some reason we got this one early. I think Japan kind of likes to see how a movie's going to do before they bring it over, but they weren't worried about this one. And it literally came out today, and today is the first day of a major week of holidays called Golden Week. So it's going to be a bit of a gold rush, I think. It was super crazy crowded. I went to the first 2D subtitled showing of the day. Why 2D? Because 3D movies legit give me headaches. So, yeah. And I think I would have gotten sick during this one. I guess my only negative with this, and I'm going to start with the negative because the rest of this is going to be pure gushing. My only negative with this film is I did find some of the action scenes very frenetic, very shaky, kind of hard to follow. But I will say that for something that could kind of be called shaky cam, it was much better than shaky cam. Because, like, there would be a moment of frenetic energy and then it would kind of pause and you would get, like, a cool pose, or would get a really clear shot of, like, one particular cool move, and then it would get frenetic again, and then it would and it would go like that. So they were still able to get you to focus on what was happening and see what was happening, and you still felt like you got a good sense of the fight. The fights are so cool, I want to see more. I just want to see it clearly, you know? But whatever, that's kind of the way things are these days. Just other than that, oh my god, I don't know what to say. I will point out that I am a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, even the ones that aren't particularly good, I would still choose over almost any other movie. Like, I've seen Thor 2 like 5 times. And people diss on Thor 2, and I'm like, you know what? It's fun. Thor's hot. It's cool. Whatever. Doesn't have to be the best Marvel movie. Like, for me personally, a poor showing in the MCU is way better than your average movie. So, like, so if you're someone who you really dislike some of the movies and really like some of the movies, I might not be the right person to judge this movie for you. Literally the only MCU movie I disliked was Iron Man 2. It's also the only one I've seen one time. I like Civil War so much that I would honestly say if you haven't been watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you haven't seen all the other movies, you should do so in order to enjoy this movie. Okay, you don't really have to watch Thor or Thor 2 because Thor is not present. Neither is the Hulk. But, like, really make sure you've seen the first 2 Captain America movies. Really make sure you've seen the 2 Avengers movies. And preferably make sure you have seen at least Iron Man 1. Yeah. Really, like, if you haven't seen both Captain Americas, both Avengers, and Iron Man 1, take the time. All of those movies are really good. And they will really make this movie even better. I haven't watched really any of the recent DC Universe movies. And basically what I hear about them and the reason I don't go see them is because it sounds like they're just very serious and very dark. And, like, at some point you gotta have fun with the fact that you got men in panties running around. Like, you gotta have fun with the ridiculousness, you know? And the reason I will watch even a poor showing in the MCU, the reason why I have no problem if you came to me right now and said, want to watch Thor 2, I'd be like, yeah! The reason I feel that way is because the MCU movies come from a vantage point of fun. They want to make sure the action is fun. They want to try and have comedy. They develop their characters through comedy, through banter, and it's wonderful. And this movie still has that, but this movie was kind of a little more like the second Captain America movie, a little bit more like Winter Soldier, because it had that stuff, but serious shit was going down, and there was serious, so this movie has a bit more of a seriousness. That there are funny moments, but it's not like, I would say the first Avengers movie is a lot funnier than this movie. This movie has amazing funny moments. I literally laughed out loud, and I'm not the easiest person to make laugh out loud in a movie theater. I'm really not. And it did that, but it also made me cry. I am an easy person to make cry in a movie theater, but this movie had me crying like 20 minutes in. Goddamn, give me a chance to eat my popcorn, movie. The only other movie I can think of that made me cry that fast was the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that was like a trigger warning of a cry. That was my own personal shit making that so tragic. Yeah, oof. If you ever watch the Guardians of the Galaxy with me, you will notice I always skip the first scene, like the first couple scenes. That movie starts when Star-Lord is dancing. Hey! What else? Well, this movie made brilliant use of its characters, especially the superheroic characters. This movie has 12 superheroes to deal with. And they're dealing with their motivations, especially, like why they ended up on whichever side of the Civil War. Why they made the choice that they've made, why they're with the people they're with. And it shows you, like, their feelings. Like, you've got people who are fighting their best friends, and they feel like they have to, and they feel like they're roped into it, and both sides really feel like they're doing the right thing. And it's just, they're taking advantage of all the character development they've had time to do because they've done so many movies. You don't need to do a Tony Stark background. We know Tony Stark. You don't need to do a Captain America background. We know Captain America. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm failing at speech so hard. They did the work to develop these characters, to develop a universe. They're expanding the characters, expanding the universe. It feels like a real problem that they would really have. Like, this feels like a real situation that would come up. This feels like a real thing that would happen if there were superheroes like this. And the fight scenes, like the big action set pieces with multiple superheroes, are so good. You have that element of they're kind of trying not to go too hard because they don't want to actually kill these people, but they still need to win. And there's such a diverse amount of powers. You've got people who are just using suits. You've got regular human beings. Well, Black Widow is kind of a regular human being. Clint Barton is kind of a regular human being. So you've got non-powered individuals, you've got supersuit individuals, you've got actual powered individuals, and it's just the ebb and flow and the different crazy things that can happen in the battle are just so cool. I liked Spider-Man. How refreshing is it to see a Spider-Man movie that doesn't for a second mention how he became Spider-Man? They didn't even say the words, Uncle Ben. Oh, like, we've seen Spider-Man movies. We don't need this in our face, and they wisely did not try to cram that in here. And it's just, and the thing is, not only are they balancing all these different superheroes, there are other really important characters who are not superheroes at all, and they're still included in this story, and we're seeing what they're doing too. And it's just, I was literally sitting in the theater in awe at how I understood why everything was happening. Like, a lot of times when I'm watching an action movie, a lot of action movies, you're just sitting there, you're floating in between action set pieces. Doesn't really make sense how they went from one place to another. You don't really care. And it's all explained in this movie. You know why different groups of people are ending up in different places doing different things. It literally feels like there's not a lot of wasted time. But at the same time, the movie still takes its chances to breathe. It still has these comedy scenes. And the way they set up Captain America's motivation was just... Here's the thing. Growing up, I was never a huge Captain America fan. I'm still not a huge Superman fan, for pretty much the same reason. I've always found them kind of boring. That goody two-shoes kind of thing. It's just, I like to have a little edge or a little interest or a little, like, inferiority complex or something in my superheroes to make them interesting. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has made Captain America so interesting to me. To take me, who growing up has never particularly cared for Captain America, and to make me root for him, to make me feel for him, to make me cry for him. I mean, that wasn't just this movie. That's the MCU. That's Winter Soldier. That's the Avengers. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy I went and saw it right away. I wish I didn't have vacation plans so I could go see it again. Oh, God. It was so good. And not to be that diversity person, but it felt like we were getting more diversity in our superhero movies too. We had 2 superhero women, and we had some other female characters who were also important. And then to have, what's his name? War Machine. To have Rudy, to have the Falcon, to have the Black Panther, just to have them there. Oh, it was so good. I was really enjoying it. There's not as much banter, but there's still that banter. There's still that humor. There's still that chance to breathe. Everyone has good lines. Everyone has a good moment. I liked Spider-Man. I felt like he had the right amount of time in the movie. Like, they had enough so that it made sense why he was there. But he wasn't one of the main stars because we already had our main stars established. We knew what the battle was. But it was pretty cool. Is there anything else I can say without getting into spoilers? No, okay. I can't really think of anything. I highly recommend this film. I highly recommend the MCU, and I highly recommend this film. And I really think, again, you should definitely have seen The Avengers 2. You should definitely have seen the first 2 Captain America movies. You should definitely have seen at least the first Iron Man movie. And I forgot to say it earlier, but you should probably have seen Ant-Man too. Wouldn't hurt. That's the least important of the movies I've watched, but you might want to watch Ant-Man. Alright, I hope you enjoy this film as much as I did. That I have not steered you wrong in complimenting it so highly, but I was seriously impressed. I was seriously impressed with what they managed to do. They just had a ton of characters, a ton of motivations, a ton of things they wanted to fit in, and not only did it fit in, it felt good, it felt smooth, it didn't feel bloated. I highly recommend this film. I might see it again later this week. Bye-bye! Not ready to leave yet? You can watch me play more HOTS, watch me play HOTS with Demonac, or watch Demonac and I fight over what show to watch in Anime Indecision.